Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and this is your 2017 tarot forecast. So this is my yearly New Year's reading that I do every year. And for this reading, I'm going to be using the Druidcraft Tarot. I put a little call out on my Facebook page to see which deck was most popular, what people wanted me to use for this reading. And this deck, the Druidcraft Tarot, won by a landslide. So I'm going to be reading with the Druidcraft, and I'm using a spread that I've created myself. And yeah, okay, let's get started. So the first card, and actually I'm gonna zoom in on the first card just so we're not zoomed out the entire time. Okay, so the first card, it represents the theme of 2017. Okay, so we have the Ace of Pentacles. So I love that we have an ace for the theme of 2017, simply because aces have to do with new beginnings and fresh starts. And I apologize that my camera keeps moving. I always have such a challenge getting my camera set up for these readings where I need to have like a certain kind of distance from the cards. Actually, I'm gonna maybe zoom in a little bit more there. Okay, so here we have the Ace of Pentacles, and this is the theme for 2017. Now, aces, like I said, they're about new beginnings, but the suit of Pentacles has to do with physical things. So it has to do with the body, health, sexuality, money. Those are all things that are in the domain or the realm of the suit of Pentacles. And what this is telling us is that for many of us, 2017 is going to be the ideal year for making a fresh start in these areas. So if you're wanting to kind of revamp your finances, if you're wanting to start good habits in the realm of finance and money, if you're wanting to have better health and maybe start some kind of health routine or eat better, this is the year that's going to be, you're going to have more support. It's more likely that you're going to be successful making those changes this year, more so than any other year before. Yeah. And one symbol I want to draw your attention to is the bear that's emerging from the den. So this is a bear that's been hibernating. He's been hibernating all winter. He's been kind of sleeping. He's been in a sleepy, lazy fog, and he's just emerging from his den. He's kind of waking up. And I think for a lot of us, 2017 is going to be that year where we kind of wake up. The past year may have been, we may have felt like we've kind of walked through the past year. We might have felt kind of lazy and sluggish and unmotivated in 2016. And 2017 is the year to, stretch yourself, wake up, and get out there and live life in a new kind of more awake way than you have been in the past. Okay, so let's move on down. So this next card, and I think I'll just zoom out a little bit. I think I know how to work my camera after all these years, but okay, so the next card has to do with what we need to let go of in order to move into 2017 successfully. So sometimes this can represent things from the past year, but it's basically what we need to kind of release in order to move forward successfully. And here we have the Six of Wands. Now, the Six of Wands is really a card about success, but it's specifically about getting accolades and pats on the back from those around us. So in this card, you see someone returning, he's returning from the hunt, and I guess he's returning victorious with something. And that he's going to be, applauded by the people in his community or his village. And I feel like what we really need to let go of is a need for this. So letting go of that need for approval or the need for others to celebrate who we are or our choices. I think that holds us back a lot when we have that expectation or that desire for people to applaud us for what we do. It's nice to be applauded, and it's nice for people to celebrate us and who we are, but it's even better to be able to kind of let go of that need a little, so that our choices and, you know, our decisions in life aren't based on getting that from others. So this is something that's really going to free you up this year, and it's going to free you up to make bolder choices. It's going to free you up to be more authentic and express who you are and just enjoy life more. If you let go of that need for validation from others and accolades, and letting go of the need to be successful too. You know, redefining success for yourself, letting go of society's definition of what success is. Okay, so this next card represents obstacles and possible pitfalls, or I should say challenges that are gonna that are gonna be presenting themselves in 2017. And we've got the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is all about feeling indecisive and feeling like you have to make a choice or a decision, but you're torn because you maybe don't have enough information to, you know, make an informed decision. And you might also feel like if you choose one thing, you're rejecting another thing. Because inevitably, if you go down one path, that means there's a bunch of other paths that you can't go down at that time. So this is going to be a big challenge for many of us in 2017. We're going to feel mentally conflicted, or not mentally conflicted, but perhaps there's the potential for a lot of energy to get wasted on trying to make a decision on something and just really mulling over things and thinking, oh, should I do this or this? What if I do this and I can't do this? So that's kind of the number one obstacle that is going to come up for us this year. So not really that bad, actually. In terms of obstacles, this is pretty minor. And I want to move on to the next card because I feel like the next card really is going to offer some solutions for how we can deal with this obstacle. And yes, I have looked at all the cards already, so I'm doing this reading a little bit different than I do my weekly readings, because my weekly readings I just do it on the fly, but this one I've actually already looked at. Okay, so we've got the Two of Wands. Now this card represents actions and opportunities that are going to present themselves in 2017. Now the Two of Wands is kind of similar to the Two of Swords, but the Two of Wands is all about contemplation. So while the Two of Swords is about hand-wringing and trying to make a decision, the Two of Wands is really about contemplating in more of a calm kind of manner. So one way to describe it is you might be trying to decide where to put your energy this year, and you may have a lot of different options. And that experience of thinking, oh, the field is wide open. I've got the world in my hands. I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. Where do I want to put my energy? That is a much more open, positive way to experience that experience of trying to make a decision or a choice, versus the Two of Swords, which is like, should I do this or this? Oh, I might make the wrong decision. What if I don't make the right decision? What if I don't have enough information? That's a more stressful kind of way to make a decision. So in terms of actions, I don't feel like the Two of Wands is really about action. It's more about contemplation, and it's more about kind of inaction. So this year may not be a big year of so much taking action as it is a big year of contemplation. And of course, action, after you contemplate things and figure things out, then action can come after that. But I feel like this year is a big year of contemplating where you want to put your energy. So what is important to you? What direction do you want to go? And it's more about making decisions around kind of steering yourself in a particular direction than it is about, taking big action steps. Okay, so let's move on down. I'm going to move on down to the next row of cards. And for the next 5 cards are more about specific areas in your life. So I'm going to tackle romance, career and work, health, money, and social life. And I just want to say before I get into this section that these cards aren't meant to be predictive of those areas of your life. So it's not like, oh, this card's going to predict how your love life is going to be. I drew these cards with the intention that they'd give you some ideas as to kind of what challenges you might face in this area and what kinds of things you could do to really make the most of this area in your life in 2017. So this card has to do with romance, so your love life, romantic relationships, things like that. And we've got the 3 of Pentacles. And so if you're already in a relationship, the 3 of Pentacles has that message of working on your relationship. And I shouldn't say working on your relationship because it's not going to feel like work. The 3 of Pentacles shows someone who's doing something, he loves and that he's naturally good at. And so while it's work, he's creating something, he's doing something useful, it maybe doesn't feel like work to him. Like he's just in the zone. And I get that feeling whenever I'm like drawing or dancing. You just feel like you're in the zone and time just kind of flies. So if you're in a relationship, this is a really good year to deepen your relationship and to deepen your connection with your partner, and to do it in a way that feels good, not in a like, oh, let's work on the relationship kind of thing. Let's pick a time and sit down and communicate. That can feel very pressured and contrived, whereas the 3 of Pentacles is letting you know that there's a lot of potential for you to deepen your relationship in a way that feels good and natural to you. Now, if you're not in a relationship, and you want to be in a relationship, the 3 of Pentacles is letting you know that you are most attractive when you're doing something that you love and that you're naturally good at. If you look at this card, here's a guy, he's working on like a sculpture thing, or maybe not a sculpture, but he's doing something there, something artistic. And all these people are looking on, they're watching him, and they're fascinated by what he's doing. And I feel like the message here is, if you do things in which you feel in your element, in your kind of natural element, that's going to put you in a very magnetic, attractive light to others. So you don't necessarily have to go out there and try to attract someone. Just go out there and, I guess, be yourself. Do something you love. Do something that puts you in that kind of attractive, magnetic light. Okay, so moving on to the next card. This card has to do with career and work. And if you don't have a job, if you don't have a career, this could be like, if you're a student, this could be your schoolwork. But this card basically represents your life's work, what kind of work you do in the world. And we've got the Princess of Pentacles. Now, in a Rider-Waite deck, this would be the Page of Pentacles. And pages have to do with learning. So I feel like for many of us, we are going to be doing a lot of learning this year when it comes to our life's work. This isn't really a year for mastery necessarily in our jobs or our careers. This is about upgrading your skills. It's about learning new things, doing research, even making connections with people who know more than you. Like being an apprentice, learning from others. This is about learning. It's about acquiring important knowledge in your area of expertise. And you're going to take that knowledge and those skills and you're going to use it later on. But this year is really about learning and acquiring those skills and acquiring that knowledge. Now, moving on to the next card. The next card is going to represent health and the body. Okay, and here we have 9 of Wands. And the funny thing is, this is really the only kind of somewhat negative card in the whole reading, is the card for health. And what really stands out to me in this card is that energy of defensiveness. So the 9 of Wands is really all about feeling defensive and feeling like you're under attack, or like you're kind of expecting the worst. It doesn't mean that you are under attack or that the worst is going to happen. It just means that you feel that way. So you kind of have your backup about something. You're on guard. You're tense. What this represents is, it represents, I feel like it's a strong message. It's saying that when you're tense, physically or emotionally, mentally, when you're tense, that is when you almost lower your immune system. That tension is going to be draining on your body. And it's going to actually leave you vulnerable to things like colds and flus, or, injury, things like that. So the more tense you are, and the more defensive you feel, the more that's going to kind of drain you of vital energy. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind as you go into 2017, is notice what your energy is doing. What are you putting your energy towards? Because I think that if you're putting your energy towards being defensive about something, so trying to prove that you're right, or trying to protect yourself from someone else, a lot of that energy can be probably better used elsewhere, or in a different kind of way. There's another way you can approach those same challenges, but in a way that's more health-giving and positive, and not going to be draining to you. Because the more that you put energy into being defensive and being worried and fearful, the more that kind of drains you of your energy, and kind of makes you vulnerable to minor things like colds and flus. And this guy's got like a broken arm. So I think it's just kind of a warning saying, take care of yourself, take care of your energy. And I think also this is about changing how you think about your body. I think we're so used to thinking of our immune systems as being like an army. Like, I think everyone's probably heard that language used when, people are talking about the immune system and how we're fighting a cold. And, we think of antibodies as being soldiers, or maybe I have that wrong. Maybe it's white blood cells. You think of your white blood cells as being like soldiers, and we have this war language that is used to describe the body. And it's really interesting. I think we should question that, because I think it's basically bullshit. Our bodies they're more than that. They function in a different way, and I think that's just how we're used to thinking of it. And I think when we think of our bodies that way, that alone creates stress and tension for ourselves. So I think another thing to just kind of, food for thought, just kind of question how you think of your body and its processes and your immune system. Okay, so let's move on to the next card. The next card, and I'm just going to move my camera down. The next card represents money and finances. And we have a 2 of Pentacles. Now, I believe I said earlier when I was, right in the beginning when I was talking about the Ace of Pentacles, that this was a good year for starting fresh with money and finances. And, you're going to have a lot of support and a lot of help and motivation behind you if you decide to change some of your money habits and kind of turn things around for yourself. Now, the 2 of Pentacles is, it's about balance, and it makes me think of, balancing the inflow with the outflow. So, noticing how much money is coming in and where that money is coming from, and then also noticing how much money is flowing outward, how much are you spending, and where is that money going? And that is just a very basic kind of concept when it comes to money and finances. Another thing that's standing out to me with the Two of Pentacles is that there's some possible challenges around money, and the challenge is unpredictability. So if you look at this card, you can see in the background there is ships, kind of, it looks like it's a storm and there's ships that are being blown about. And I feel like this represents how unexpected expenses can come up, and at the same time, unexpected streams of income can present themselves. So keeping that in mind this year, that you know, there could be unexpected expenses here and there, but also look for those unexpected hidden streams of income that you may not know are there. So it's about tapping into those as well. Another thing with this card is the woman on the card is juggling. So she's in constant motion, and she needs to be very aware, very present, but also very flexible. And I feel like that's another key this year with money, is that we're going to be learning how to be flexible with money and how to be almost kind of fearless around money and let go of some of that tension. But we're still being present, we're being vigilant, we're watching our money, we're not totally, you know, clueless, but we're also kind of letting go of some of that fear and attachment to money and just kind of going with the flow. Okay, last card. This card is about your social life. So this is about relationships that are typically non-romantic. So friends, family, this is about all those relationships. And really, I think this card gives you the key to having a really vibrant, wonderful social life. So the Nine of Pentacles, probably one of my favorite cards. I love this card because it's really a card of luxury. This card represents someone who isn't worried about anything. You know, they have enough money to live comfortably. They kind of know what their place in the world is. They're comfortable. They're not striving for anything. They're comfortable within themselves. And I feel like the more you can embody this kind of attitude, especially when it comes to friends and socializing, the more you're going to attract what it is that you're looking for. So you might be looking for more friends or more of a social life, or you might be really craving deeper connections with people and a different quality of a social life. So if you're, you know, if 2016 was full of, you know, coffee dates, chit chats, parties, 2017 perhaps for you, you might want more quality. So you might want more, you know, deeper connections with people, and you might want to do things that feel a little more meaningful and less superficial. Or if you have tons of friends and maybe you want a year where you're not as active socially and you have more time to yourself, whatever it is, keep this card in mind and this attitude of the woman in Nine of Pentacles. She is just calm, she's relaxed, she's luxuriating in what she has. And I feel like this is also about appreciating what you've got. So even if you feel like, oh, I don't have enough friends or I never get invited out places, this is about noticing what is working in this area of your life and what you have that you can really appreciate more of. Okay, so now I'm going to actually zoom out here and we're going to look at all these cards together. And there's my notes. There's my little kitty cat. Oh, Merlina, she's getting so big. Okay, so here we have the spread as a whole. Now, I know that it's really zoomed out, so you can't really see these cards particularly well, but there's a few themes and things that I wanted to point out. So I'm just going to move my camera up a little bit here. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed, you know, when I zoom out and look at these cards together, is that there's a lot of pentacles. There's a lot of pentacles. There's quite a few wands. There are no cups, and there are no major arcana. So that's really interesting, I think. Now, I don't know what to make of the fact that there's no major arcana. So the major arcana usually have to do with, you know, big events in our lives. It has to do with, you know, spiritual turning points and major work that's being done. The fact that there's no major arcana here kind of leads me to believe that 2017 is going to be more of a low-key year. It isn't necessarily going to be a huge year for us in terms of, moving forward with things, succeeding, or even like things like tragedy or, big life events that really are shifting. I feel like this year is maybe going to be kind of a rest year for many of us, thank God. So that's not a bad thing at all. Now, the fact that there are so many pentacles, to me, this shows that this year is going to be a very earthy year, and there's going to be more of a focus on practical things. So things like your health, money, creating physical things. There's just more of a focus on that as opposed to spiritual pursuits or emotions. Like there are no cups in this reading, and cups have to do with feelings, emotions, relationships. And it's not that those things are going to be absent from your life in 2017. I just feel like you're not going to be as affected by those things this year. So that's just not the focus of the year. Those things don't figure prominently in 2017. Now, there's also a lot of wands in this reading, and wands have to do with energy and creativity. And I know I talked about the Two of Wands and how it had to do with, directing energy, and Nine of Wands is about, noticing where you're spending a lot of your energy. So I feel like it's also a year of paying attention to energy, paying attention to what you're creating and how that energy creates things, and paying attention to physical things like your body and the messages that your body is sending you. That's going to be kind of the focus for 2017. Now, I also noticed that there are a lot of twos. So there's 3 twos. There's the Two of Swords, Two of Wands, and Two of Pentacles. Now, twos, in this case, they have to do with decision, contemplation, choice, and balance. So I feel like those things are going to figure prominently for us as well. And I feel like overall, when I look at this reading, this is not really a year of mastery. It's a year of learning. It's a year of building, making choices and new beginnings. And to kind of bring you back to the first card, which is the Ace of Pentacles, this really is a year of starting fresh, of making new beginnings, building things from the ground up, making some decisions and choices, and learning a lot of cool stuff this year. And not learning in necessarily an unpleasant way, like we can have tragedy and drama and learn from that. I feel like this year's going to be about learning in a pleasant, more relaxed way. And there's a couple other things that I don't really have time to go into, and I don't know how relevant it really is, but I want to throw it out there for you because I want to give you something to contemplate with this reading on your own. And I've noticed that one repeating symbol is the falcon on the arm. So 9 of Pentacles, there's a falcon on the arm, and 6 of Wands, the guy on the horse has a falcon on his arm. And then, of course, the red cloak that appears in the Two of Swords, the Princess of Pentacles, and the 6 of Wands. That's another repeating symbol that might mean something to you. So that is your 2017 tarot reading, or your tarot forecast. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful 2017. And you can find out more about tarot card reading. You can find fun tarot spreads and exercises on my website, dailytarotgirl.com.